Holy smokers, folks, this ain't no dang jokers. Somebody just made life-changing money on Meta stock. I mean, absolutely life-changing money. They went ahead and they had bought about $39,000 worth of call options on Meta back in around Q4 when the stock was super low, right? And at that time, the stock was in the 80s. And, to think the stock would go to $235 was, pretty unrealistic, at least in the short term. Well, obviously, Meta surpassed $235 by a substantial margin. As of today, it's trading $300+ a share. And this person that bought those call options absolutely made an insane fortune on this. And now they've made about 2.6 million, okay? Now what they're going to go ahead and do is take that 2.6 mil, and no, it's not me. I wish it was me, okay? It's not me. They're going to go ahead and take that 2.6 mil and buy PayPal call options with it. So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about this and react to this on the reaction channel here today. Give you my thoughts on this. And obviously, I would not be, making moves like this in terms of putting millions of dollars in call options. But we'll say hypothetically for this video, if I was absolutely forced, okay, and look at my camera even went out. It's like, don't do that, okay, don't do that. If I was forced to go ahead and buy, a ridiculous amount of PayPal call options, I'm going to show you exactly what strike prices I would pay, or what strike prices I would pick, how much I'd be willing to pay, and all those sorts of things, okay? So I hope you enjoy this. As always, I appreciate you joining me, folks. Thanks for being subscribed here, 30,000 plus subscribers now at this point in time, okay? Now, as a Meta shareholder, I've made, obviously a great deal of money on this stock, and, looking back in hindsight, yes, I wish I bought some call options as well. It's just, why didn't I buy some call options in Meta? Why did I only buy the stock? Well, to put it quite simply, okay, I got wrecked last year. Every single time I'd buy the dip in every stock, it would go lower and lower and lower and lower. There was nothing going right for me last year. Absolutely nothing. It was the worst year I've ever had in the market by a lot, okay? It was a disaster. And so, naturally, if we're talking about my confidence level, right, my confidence level is usually going to be pretty dang sky high. And my confidence was probably the lowest it had been in the stock market in a long, long time, probably the lowest it had been since maybe, 2015, 2016, after coming off of kind of doing margin trading and trying to swing trade and that whole failed experiment after being a successful long-term investor for many, many years, trying to switch up my strategy and getting absolutely slapped in the face, nasty style, right? And so my confidence was in a lower state last year, so I was like, I'm just going to play it safe, and I'm just going to be buying Meta stock straight up. And so I just bought Meta stock straight up. And you guys remember the day I bought $77,000 worth of Meta stock, right? If I would have bought $77,000 instead of Meta stock, I would have bought Meta call options. The gains would be millions right now, millions. But nonetheless, even myself, I didn't expect Meta stock to come back that much, that fast. If you would have told me, okay, maybe Meta stock's at like 150 this year, 200, I'd be like, okay, that sounds like it could be a possibility. 300 plus, woo, even that one surprised me, okay? And so, nonetheless, folks, when it comes to kind of Meta, yeah, the gains could have been more, but it is what it is, okay? In regards to PayPal, right, I think the risk reward is the most attractive I've seen since Meta, right? It is very low downside for the stock for the next 24 to 36 months and extremely high upside over the next 24 to 36 months, meaning essentially I expect the stock to at least double up over the next 2 to 3 years at a bare minimum, okay? Now, in regards to this gentleman, he's not going to have 2.6 mil to buy PayPal call options with. He's going to have about $1.6 million to buy with, okay? Because he's going to take all short-term gains. If he was buying in Q4, those call options, right? Well, it hasn't been a year, right? So he's going to have to pay normal tax rate on that, which I don't know where that gentleman lives, but nonetheless, he's going to have maybe 1.6 million to play with. If, it's a potential he could have even a lower amount than that. We'll say 1.6 million for this exercise we're about to do here, where I'm going to show you exactly what I would be buying for strike prices and everything like that, okay? And exactly how I would distribute this money. Once again, I would not be looking to do this. This is like whole, for me, when it comes to big money, I go into stocks straight up, okay? For big money, I'll do small money for some options, for like some hedges. Like obviously I have some hedges on for this year. I'll put some hedges on for next year, like 20, 30K, small stuff. Like, when we're talking millions, I'm not going to do this, but we'll say for this example, I would do this, okay? So, here's what I would be personally doing in this situation, okay? First up, I would want to, for majority of these options, I'd want to buy myself some time, okay? Because you never know. What if a recession happens next year, like some big recession? You never know. Like, well, what happens if the PayPal story doesn't come together? What happens if they hire a CEO and a lot of investors don't like that CEO and they sell out and it puts even more selling pressure? You never know, okay? You got to always plan for a bunch of things to happen that you are not expecting to happen, essentially, okay? So I want to buy myself some time. So there's PayPal options that expire way out in December 2025. So that's what I'm be looking at. Now, January 2026 could come out in a few months for PayPal, but December 2025, just fine, okay? So I'd be looking to buy 200 contracts. And remember, each contract represents 100 underlying shares. So it is something important to keep in mind there, okay? I'd be looking at 72.50. I basically want my first position to be right at what the stock's trading at right now, right? 72.50 strike price. This would cost me about $400,000, just over $400,000, right? Because I need to pay just over $20 in premium per each, right? Then you can times that out by 100. Then you can times that out, obviously, by 200, right? So my break even would be about $93 on these. And yeah, I'm pretty darn confident PayPal is going to at least be $93 a share in December 2025, regardless of what happens in the economy and all those sorts of things. So that would make me feel pretty comfortable. There's a high probability by that time PayPal's trading $200 to $300, which would mean a very, very nice profit based upon the premium I'm paying. If that stock's $200 or $300 a share by that time, looking really, really good. Now, on the flip side, obviously, if PayPal stock hardly appreciates over the next few years, it's not like I'm going to lose all my money, right? Because we don't need much appreciation over this time span to get to $93 to kind of at least break even with my money. That wouldn't be an ideal situation, but it would be what it's going to be, right? Now, I would be looking to go even safer with the majority of the money, right? Remember, we got about 1.6 mil to play with here. So I would be looking to put half that money, $800,000, in $40 strikes, okay? Now, this is the ultimate kind of safety play from kind of the option side with PayPal. Once again, looking out at December 2025, my break even on these ones would be $80. But hypothetically, let's say PayPal's $60 at that time. I don't lose all my capital. I lose about $400,000 of the capital, right? But I would still have $400,000 to play with. Whereas if you're buying obviously out the money and the stock price isn't at that, you're screwed. That's the best way to put it. You're screwed, okay? You're going to lose everything. So at least this would save some face here. I mean, could PayPal be less than $40 in December 2025? All things are possible. I mean, it would take a Great Depression type crash, in my opinion, to have that happen. So not a super high probability, but it's always a possibility, right? And that's the risk with options. So break even would be 80 here. Obviously, if the stock still goes to $200, $300, $400 a share over that time, still going to make a good amount of money on that. Is it going to be like if I had bought $100 strikes or $150 strikes? Absolutely not. It's not going to be those sorts of profits, but still going to make much more profit than I would if I just bought the stock straight up, let's say, for instance, and let's say it goes to $300 a share or something like that, okay? So that's that one. Next up I'd be looking to do is I'd be looking to buy some more December 2025's $90 strike. So this would be living a little more dangerously here. This would cost about $300,000. Break even on these would be $105. But if this stock goes to $200, $300, I'm going to be looking very, very good with those. And the last one is the most dangerous of them all. The most dangerous of them all is this one. Jan 2025's on this one. I'd put the last $100,000 in these, $115 strike. My break even would be around $120 because I need to pay about $5 roughly, maybe just under $5 for these. Obviously, if the stock goes beast mode over this next 18 months, the gains are going to be extraordinary in this particular option, but this is the highest risk, highest reward one, certainly of the batch there. So that's what I would personally be looking at if you forced me to go ahead and put that 1.6 mil into call options. I appreciate everybody joining me. As always, a little bit of a different reaction video. I thought that was a crazy story, man. Absolutely crazy story. So congrats to that individual, and we'll see how their PayPal options work out over the next few years. Much love, and have a great day.